welcome to Sunny Day Stamping. I'm Julie Baca. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to be making a fall card today. All of a sudden, it turns September and it starts to cool off a little bit. I'm in Maryland, so it got down to like 75, and I'm like, oh yay, it's time for fall. No, the leaves are changing colors though. Anyway, we're going to be making a fall card. I'm going to show you kind of a fancier one, but then I've got one that is more, that is easier, simpler, quicker, and I'm going to show you how to cut up your dies so that it makes it quicker to make these cards. Let's get started. Check out this gorgeous card. It is simple, it's elegant, it uses very few colors and supplies. I just love this, and we're going to be using Nature's Prints. Here is the stamp set. I love this one. You've seen on my channel, I've used this quite a few times. It's got awesome foliage, beautiful sentiments to pick from, and you can get the die set that cuts all these things out, which makes it so convenient. This great label that we're going to be using today. But what I'm going to do, it comes with this gorgeous big wreath. And I thought, you know, sometimes when I'm making cards, I don't feel like dealing with all these little pieces, even though they're awesome. Sometimes I don't want to deal with it. And this one has this big wreath. So what we're going to do is cut this out and trim it to create all these little pieces with just one pass through the die cutting machine. So I did want to show you, as I'm putting this away, a couple of quick tips. You can see I've made this project before, and I had leftover wreath pieces and leftover die cut pieces. I just store them right in my envelope. So when I'm going to make another card, if I need one really quick, I've got pieces already cut out. Also, I like to label this with the name of it and the number of dies in there so I don't lose any. I really love creating projects where you don't need a ton of supplies, because I was a first-time stamper before too, and I'd get so frustrated that there were so many supplies that I needed and I didn't have. So anyway, I try to create projects like that more times than not. So you just need 3 colors of ink and the same color of cardstock. I've got all these measurements over on my website, sunnydaystamping.com, or if you sign up for my email list, you'll get this print and make project sheet here. And for this week, you're going to get the measurements for the simple card and the stepped up version, and I'll show you this card at the end. So we're going to start by doing our die cuts first. I just chose a sentiment out of that stamp set. I'm going to ink it up really good and just put it right in the middle here. And then I'm going to use that label from the die set to cut this out. Now I've got a tip for you. It annoys me when the die cut is not straight. I'm kind of a detail-oriented person, so that kind of stuff makes me cuckoo. So here is a tip. Post-it notes, just put it over here, and when you run it through your die machine, it is going to hold that in place and cut it out perfectly. So I ran that through, and you can see it doesn't cut the Post-it note, and there you go. And I'm going to reuse that Post-it note. All right, so now we're going to grab our soft succulent, and we're going to cut our wreath out of that. This is a 4-inch wide piece of paper, and that just fits this. If you have it rotated the right way, so you got to get that right. Now I'm going to stamp and cut out 2 other images, but I'm putting my wreath here so I know where to stamp, so I can get this all on one pass through my die cutting machine. I'm going to ink up just 2 pieces of foliage from that stamp set, and I'm going to do soft succulent ink on soft succulent paper. I just think that looks really pretty. Now I'm going to do that same thing, and I'm going to line up my die, use that same sticky note again, and run these through the machine. Well, it would help if I put the sticky on the die. There we go. All right, now we'll run this through the machine. Okay, so now we'll see how these turned out. See, that is just perfectly lined up. Oh, I love that tip. All right, I got another one for you, because when you have dies like this that are really intricate, you got to kind of wiggle the pieces out. And now, if you can see, some of these pieces need to come out, and you can use your fingernail. There's also a tool that you can buy, but I've got this little toothpick, so that's what I'm going to do. There, that's it. So now we're going to just take our scissors and just clip this wreath into 4 different pieces. And obviously this does not have to be exact, and they can, you can cut any die this way. So go look at your stash of stuff and see what can I cut up so I don't have to run it through my machine so many times. And then you just kind of have to get creative. Sometimes you gotta, instead of just snipping, you gotta kind of cut like that. There, and now we've got some great pieces to add on our card. Now later on, I'm going to show you that simple version where you're actually only going to use 2 pieces. So you could actually make 2 cards out of this one wreath. Okay, so now we have all these die cuts done. We're just going to work on our sentiment from on the middle there. And you can use it just like this, which is what we do in our simple version. But I want to kind of make an aged look around the edge of this. So I'm going to take my blending brush in the crumb cake, which matches this crumb cake, and I'm just going to rub it just on the edge to make it look aged. And it doesn't look like it's doing anything, but you can tell on your paper there that it is. There, doesn't that just give it just that extra little like pop of awesome? I just love it. Now, before we put all our stamps away, let's go ahead and stamp the inside layer. This will go on the inside of the card, and we'll just kind of do like that. And we're also going to stamp our envelope. Now, you could obviously grab all those stamps out of that stamp set and really do up the inside and the envelope, but I just wanted to make this kind of a simple card, so I'm just using these 2. I do have to fix this mistake though. I pressed too hard and it went down right there. So what I'm going to do, let's see if this works. If not, we'll get another envelope out. Let's put another fern right over there. Oh no! I did it again. Okay, not so hard. Let me see. There, that's the right pressure. Oh my goodness, Julie Baca. Okay, let's see. Is that going to look funny? I think we salvaged it. It's a little messy right there, and it almost makes me think we need one more going this way. Oh, usually less is more, and I got a lot more on here than I normally would. Actually, I like it. I like it. You know what? We're just going to keep on going with this. Ooh! Hey, see? Sometimes your mistakes can turn into something pretty. So now you're going to grab your other piece of Very Vanilla. This one is 5 by 3 3/4. So it's actually the smaller of the 2 pieces. And what we're going to do is determine where do we want our sentiment to go. On this card, I'm going to have it down at the bottom. And this is going to help me figure out where I want all these pieces of foliage. If I can pick them up, there we go. And so we're going to just kind of lay them out. Just test it before everything gets glued down. I do want them coming off of this paper a little bit. I made this piece small on purpose so that they could come off the paper without extending past the size of the card that would mess it up for trying to fit it in the envelope. I think I want that in front. There, so just test it all out, and then when you have it where you want it, grab your glue and stick all this down. So I'm going to start with my pieces that are on touching the back there. And if they don't go back right where you had them, that's okay. You're just like testing this out. Now I purposely am not putting glue all the way to the tips of these because I want it to kind of be popping off the paper like that. All right, so if that looks good to you, now it's time to do this sentiment. And I've got a tip to make it easy. So what we're going to do is, let me show you the example first. So there's just these threads going around the back. And so what you're going to do is take your thread and measure like 7 inches. I found was a good length without wasting too much thread. And I'm going to double that over. I don't know why I'm measuring that twice. Doesn't matter if you double it over. I'm going to cut it here and then hold it together and put your scissors in until it's taut. And now you got the middle of there. Keep those together. Grab your sentiment. Grab your tape. I guess you could use glue, but boy, would that be messy. And we're going to put the middle of these threads in the middle of this sentiment. and stick it down. Okay, now what we want to do is have these threads coming off these points here. So just grab another piece of tape, and we're just going to do these one at a time. Well, one side at a time. Just kind of put them where you want them. Maybe we will do these one at a time. There we go. And then tape that in place. And you want to make sure none of your tape is sticking out like I just did. So if it's sticking out, extending past there where you'd actually see it, just trim it off. There, see, that is going to be nice and straight once we stick that down. So let's do the other side. There, so that looks awful on the back, but you are not going to see it. And we're going to put this on here, but we're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to kind of, which will help because look, if we were to glue that down, it wouldn't glue straight down anyway because we have so much behind there. So let's pop that up. And now you're going to layer that right on top, making sure that the ends of your foliage are covered up there like that. Now, we don't have to tie anything. I love this because this is like no fail, right? So we're going to put these around to the back and tape them on the back. So just kind of hold your fingers behind there to hold them in place. Make sure they're straight on the front like that. And then tape them down. Now, let's say those are a little bit loose. Just go back here. Just tug on them just a bit. And it'll hold them right in place. Then press that back down. Now, grab your card base and use your bone folder to get it nice and creased down if you're using heavy cardstock. And now, you could glue this straight down, but since I have these dimensionals out, I am going to put dimensionals all over the back of this thing, and it's going to pop it up off there and just give that one extra little like interest to the card. Yep, I'm using the edge of my Stampin' Dimensionals there. I don't like to waste anything. You know, I used to cut this, but I realized I could just tear it and it's like one less thing. But it's not as pretty. It's not as pretty. So you really do want, if you're going to pop this up, you really do want like a lot on the back there so that it doesn't collapse because that would look cheap, I think. So, okay. Once you get all those off there, just place it right in the middle of your card like that. Looks so awesome. Okay, let's put our stamped layer on the inside. Check this out. Here's our beautiful set. And I forgot to tell you, this is a very vanilla envelope so that it all matches. And then here is the, here, let me let you compare the two. Here is the simple version. This one has no stamping. We're only cutting out one wreath and making 2 cards. I did not do the aging around there. So this one is really quick. I just made it different by putting it on a vanilla card base, but you could do it just like this one with those dimensions. And you'll get both of them, all the measurements for both of these cards over on my website and on that project sheet. If you'd like the print and make project sheet, don't forget to sign up for my email list. I email these out on Friday mornings of the week that that project came out. Now, if you are an email subscriber and it's later in the year than when I released this, go ahead and just email me. Let me know the name of the project and I will get that project sheet out to you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a sunny day.